Ambassador, you weren't on the call, were you? You didn't listen on President Trump's call and President Zelensky's call?
I did not.
You've never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney?
I never did.
You never met the president?
That's correct.
You had 3 meetings again with Zelensky and it didn't come up.
And 2 of those they had never heard about, as far as I know.
And
there was no reason for it to come
President
up.
Zelensky never made an announcement. This is what I can't believe, and you're their star witness.
Congressman Jim Jordan hammering the top diplomat to Ukraine, Bill Taylor, yesterday, challenging the first witness on his testimony and understanding of the facts.
Congressman Jim Jordan, who was recently moved over to the Intel Committee for those impeachment hearings, joins us right now from Statuary Hall. Congressman, good morning to you.
Morning. Morning. Morning, Steve. Ainsley, Brian.
Good to have you. Congressman, you know what? I don't know that the Democrats are good TV producers, because it was a TV show where the stars of the show essentially didn't really know much firsthand knowledge about what happened.
No, neither witness. I mean, these are their first 2 star witnesses in this impeachment sham process they got going, and neither one had talked to the president, neither one had talked to Mayor Giuliani or Chief of Staff Mulvaney. And guess what? Their witness tomorrow, she's never met with the president. She's never talked with Mayor Giuliani. She's never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney. So this is how they start out. And I think, again, the American people can see the facts are on the president's side, and they can see that this process has been unfair from the get-go.
What did Bill Taylor's reaction indicate to you? I mean, he smiled when you said, and you're the key witness. It seemed to me, as a viewer, it seemed to me that he was acknowledging, yeah, can you believe that?
Well, yeah, and he said he didn't even want to be the key witness. I said, well, that's not the Democrats' plan. They've made you the key witness, the star witness in the very first hearing. So remember, he did meet with President Zelensky 3 times between when the aid is released, or excuse me, when the aid is held and when it's released. Those 55 days. He met with President Zelensky 3 times, and never once did it come up this idea that the aid was linked to an investigation of Burisma, the company that hired Hunter Biden, or the Bidens themselves. Never once did it come up. And of course, the most important fact is, President Zelensky never made an announcement, never did a tweet, never held a press conference saying he was going to invest the Bidens to get the aid released. The aid was released because we ultimately became convinced President Zelensky is a risk worth taking and a true reformer.
When Castor, who sat next to you, got Kent to admit that he was concerned about Biden, Hunter Biden on that board, that he was not qualified to be on that board, that he personally wanted the corruption out of that country on his own behalf, doesn't care who the president is, and Biden being on that was a problem. Why was that important for Republicans to put forward? Number one, no one heard it, and number 2, the president had every reason to be concerned about 2016.
Yeah, no, great point, Brian. And Steve did a wonderful job yesterday. You're exactly right. And Secretary Kent was so nervous about this perception of corruption when Biden's on the board of this company, not just because he's the vice president's son, but because Burisma had such a bad reputation. Remember, Secretary Kent even told USAID, don't do a joint project for school kids, some essay contest, I believe it was. Don't even do that because this company's reputation is so bad. And then what do? They go put Hunter Biden on the board. So I thought it was great work by Steve to make sure that fact was brought out yesterday.
You know, ultimately, the American public is going to decide whether or not the proceedings are fair. But when you look at, Adam Schiff came out with a list of 3 questions where, okay, Republicans, if you want to call any witnesses, they've got to meet these 3 things. Well, according to his own criterion, the whistleblower should be there. And Devin Nunes yesterday mentioned Alexandra Chalupa, who gathered all sorts of dirt for the Democrats and Hillary Clinton in 2016. They both fit his metric, and yet they are not being called.
Remember, Adam Schiff has changed on this. When this first started, he said we need to hear from the whistleblower. Then here now, the last several weeks, he said no, we don't need to hear from the whistleblower. The one thing that has changed in that time frame is we learned that Adam Schiff wasn't square with us when he said he hadn't talked with the whistleblower. The whistleblower had met with Schiff's staff. So the thing I keep coming back to is 435 members of Congress. Only one knows who the whistleblower is, and only one member of Congress has had their staff meet with the whistleblower, Adam Schiff.
He said he didn't know him.
No, he's now had 3 positions. First, he said the whistleblower testified. Then he said the whistleblower shouldn't testify. And now he's saying, I don't even know who the whistleblower is, even though my staff met with him.
He's in that room. He's not under oath?
Right.
No, well, I mean, look, he's been all over the place on this whistleblower. Okay. We all want the whistleblower to hold up their right hand and testify so we can see what kind of motivations and bias they have.
Jim, you were pretty sensational yesterday. Thanks so much. See you Friday. Coming up.